gets her ire quite often, where Pamela seems to sleep with every manager in the store.
Yeah,
that's. And Emmy calls her out on this and seems to have a lot of contempt for Pamela and Deke Nardo as well.
Yeah. Well, there's the funny thing. One of the scenes, and there are so many times like this where I have Zelda and Emmy and I guess the League of Decency or whatnot want people in the store. They want to put up some flyers to come to some picnic or something for the church, and the company had rules that they couldn't. You couldn't favor the Catholics because then you had to do the Jews and all the Protestant denominations and this one. So he tells Danny, put the sign up and then take it down when they go and whatnot, and that leads to a funny scene, and then there's another scene where Deke Deke has had his fill of Pam, and he sort of passes her off onto the new manager that comes into the store, and then there was a scene, and this really happened, where the new manager's wife came in and wanted to kill. I mean, she was chasing. She wanted to kill Pam, the bookkeeper character. And what happened was the manager got her out the back door as the wife was coming through the front way, and I was there. They had pricing guns, so I was probably at the front office to get a roll of new price tags and whatnot. And the Emmy character, the real Angie was her name, but the Emmy character was there, and when she'd always call that Pam, "You fucking whore, you slut, give me my check, you slut," because she'd come to get George's paychecks so that he wouldn't blow it on booze. And then when this irate cuckolded wife came in looking to scratch the eyes out of the bookkeeper Pam, when the Emmy this is again really happened. When Emmy heard this, she's like, "That slut went out the back door that way, just 10 seconds ago," and she went off after. I never found out what happened because I only had like 20 minutes to go that day in my shift. But
the other thing you have to realize about Emmy is she seems to be in a constant state of agitation. Yeah. And when you get to know more about George, perhaps you understand why. But she'll be on a tirade, and it will lead into another tirade, like George fondling the cream cheese bars. all of a sudden, she comes out of her one tirade and starts chastising George for fondling the cream cheese bars. Also, we have to talk about when Emmy actually dies. In most of your plays, that's where you actually use the pathos of the scene to demonstrate it. But this one is still played up for comedy, where George tells Danny that Emmy died, and then there's this montage, and you have a sense that George is actually happy because he's free of her, and having to be dealt with it. And there's this long montage of her attacking George. Basically, there's a few scenes where she shows a little bit of feeling for George, but it quickly devolves into her attacking him and dissuading his character over and again.
Yeah. Well, and this is one of the things where I want to use, like this. Presumably, the actors will record this montage to be used in each thing, and this was the basis of the play. Because when I wanted to do these 6 plays based on the zombie songs, Odyssey and Oracle, from Odyssey and Oracle, A Rose for Emily was originally a William Faulkner short story. It's a mediocre short story. It became this great little pop song. And so to bring it here, I said, well, first of all, I'm going to have to rename the real Angelo or Angie to Emily or Emmy. And the thing that's the most interesting that I remember out of everything was when she died, no one went to her funeral. I mean, I assumed there had been a priest there or something. But George didn't go to his funeral. He got drunk that day and was lying around with the Howie character, just drinking his ass off. And I think, I don't remember, do I have him with Big Al? Big Al from Big Al's Gina makes an appearance.
Yes, there's a few scenes with Big Al in here.
Yeah, and so
I think it's pre-Gina's suicide too.
Yeah, it's a year or so before, and that's one of the things too in the whole meta play aspect. Earlier, when I did exteriors, I had Danny Wagner giving a phone call to his former lover there, which actually chronologically, he then would hang up in that play and go back to the first play where he's calling Megan Morrow because he mentions this or whatnot. So you do have these kind of overlaps, and so I wanted to end the play with this kind of touching thing because George seems to be relieved, and then at the end, he smiles at the pickle jar. He's looking at a pickle jar, so you can imagine him holding up a big jar and seeing his sort of grotesque, distended face, looking through pickle juice or something, and he's somewhat bizarrely happy. He more than likely and I think, and I could be wrong though, but I think that 2 or 3 years after she died, maybe just a month or two before I left the store, I think George might have gotten fired for being drunk. Finally, he was drinking too much. He didn't show up enough, and they finally fired him, even though there was a union. I felt bad about that.
They warned him about that.
Yeah.
At the beginnings of this play.
Yeah, and you get I think a good sense of the dynamics of the store. There's the gorgeous girl Luann that all the managers and all the boys want to do, and then there's the girl that she spits on, and we get a sense of these women that work in this small little office being harangued by Emmy. And in a play like this, I try to cut things down. The character of Henry Miller from these Lesser Weathers of Beethoven also has a scene or two in here because they were in. But this is the kind of play that, because Emmy is so large, she has to be center, and I don't need 30 or 40 minor characters running around, even though it would add some realism, perhaps. So you find this stuff, you got Big Al, you got Henry, you got Danny Wagner, you got the office crew, you got the Deke Nardo character, and then you have the Howie and his drunken pal. Howie, in fact, has his own sort of little drunken acolyte, just like Emmy has Zelda.
I wanted to speak to you briefly about the use of poems in this play. If you turn to page 15, for instance, you inserted the prostitute, and you mentioned how its use is ill-used in this context. But it was almost as if Emmy was taking the strings away from you.
Taking the what away from me?
Taking the strings away from you and inserting her quote-unquote vision on what she thinks of Pam with the prostitute.
I mean that's interesting. I never thought of that, but that's one of the interesting things when you do this like this. You get that. I don't know what I can really comment on that. I mean, there are one of the things, like in the last few plays, I did 27 plays in 26 weeks, and then I took a couple of weeks, did this other play, and now with this changing of jobs and me wanting to release some books online, I might release just one play this coming month in January, or finish one play if I get a chance, maybe two. And I'll be doing it slower, but working on other things with this new job. I may not be able to do as many Dan Schneider video interviews for a while. It's also good because it gives me a way to recharge, because I didn't want to fall into a habit of, say, always using poems or always using music and whatnot. And so the last 2 or 3 plays that I had done, I went away from that, and I'm trying to go more into the language of the play and whatnot. And here, got Emmy and Pat are not exemplars, and girl. And so I'm explaining Long Live Theater. Yeah, and so I use that, and I sort of I don't know if I'd say even make fun, but I sort of burlesque to an extent my use of poems with that, because Emmy is not a tragic character. She's an inherently comic character. She's a sad character to a certain degree, but you can't really feel that badly for her because she's comic, but she is a rotten person. But she's also a person, and there's when she has a little soliloquy later in the play, we get a sense that as badly as she fucks up her life and as badly as she treats other people, in her own bizarre way, she thinks she's trying. So that's sort of her redemption to a certain degree.